Okay, so what do we do now?
We need wine.
That's a good idea.
Salud.
Salud.
Op het snijvlak van disciplines ontstaat innovatie. Dus, wat gebeurt er als je de werelden van gastronomie en design bij elkaar brengt? In Hungry for Design koppelen we 6 Eindhovense topchefs en ontwerpers aan elkaar om tot een grensverleggend gerecht te komen. Ik ben Mounir Toub, chef en host, en ik neem je mee naar bijzondere Eindhovense locaties voor smaakvolle gesprekken. In deze aflevering zien we Nacho Carbonell en Adrian Zarzo. Stoelen, lampen en kunstwerken die je helpen om de werkelijkheid te ontvluchten. Grootmeester Nacho Carbonell draait er zijn hand niet voor om. Nacho's surrealistische ontwerpen worden wereldwijd verkocht en staan in musea als het 2121 Museum in Japan en het MoMA San Francisco. Adrian Zarzo haarbraken. We hoeven hem eigenlijk niet meer voor te stellen. Restaurant Zarzo is ver buiten Eindhoven een begrip. Op zijn cv staan nog veel meer indrukwekkende restaurants als de Liberijen en Santi Santa Maria.
Adrian, welcome.
Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. We already met a few years ago, and we said like we needed to work together, and we never did.
And it's the first time that we work together.
I'm very happy and very excited to do this. So I would love to know more how you kind of like approach the idea of creating a new dish.
I think when I compared the gastronomy in your style or creation is that we are created in seasons. You can work now with lamb and beef, but you don't can work with wild because it's October. And that's for me, sometimes that we must work in blocks. Maybe I can ask you what you like to eat, but I know you like it all.
I like it all. I mean, like the good thing, like we have like this kind of like Spanish DNA where we appreciate food, and I think like that's gonna bring us also into many common grounds, and also I think like the way that you approach your dishes is very close as well on how I approach my design process that comes from an idea, from a texture, and actually, but one main thing is also about like how to engage with the customer. For me, like although how to engage with the viewer, I'm always trying to kind of like make people part of the design process as well. The first time that I ate in your restaurant, I still remember as a starter, you just put like kind of like a glass with the core of a tomato and olive oil, and then when I just swallowed this thing, it just kind of like just brought me somewhere else, no, to my childhood, to my roots as well, no.
Yeah.
And this is what I think like is very important, and it's this idea of experience and how we can really bring experience to the viewer or to the one that is really going through this trip. For me, like having dinner in your restaurant, it's about like going through a trip, no, and kind of like navigating and see what is gonna come next and how I'm gonna kind of like be going somewhere with all these textures and all these smells.
And I don't say that it's easy because we are both from Spain and that some ingredients or some flavors is meshed very together with our childhood. And sometimes it's difficult to transmit this emotion or flavors because people don't understand these flavors. Sometimes this one time or one dish or one flavor, it can bring you back or know the emotion from the chef. That can be very nice. But I don't think when you have like 15 dishes to make 15 different kinds or emotions or art pieces.
That's what I was saying. It's about like engaging, how you can engage your customer into your
I really like this kind of... I remember one guest and he said to me, yeah, I really love your menu, I understand all your dishes, but the main course was very easy. I said, but I can go every time like big. And then at the end, I need one moment in the menu to say, we are drinking a glass of wine, we are eating a kind of meat or fish or veggies. Oh, it's a nice dish. And then you can talk about your things. I think the part of eating and creating in a restaurant is your conversation, I think.
It's also a lot about sharing, no? I think like for me the paella is kind of like is this symbol, no? Of
only your part.
Yeah,
only your part.
Sharing, but like you can always kind of like somehow like have like this communication around one plate. And that I always love it, no? Where actually like this engagement, I always say like paella and porron, for me when you drink the water, like it's this idea of sharing and
sharing is caring. Yeah.
So I think like it's great. I mean, you know, that I mean, like the idea of structures is also something very important in the work that I do here in the studio, and the idea of storytelling as well. I have been like I always, when I find the time, I just do like experiments, and I like this idea of like kind of like something that is cage into something, no? And how we can relate to kind of like maybe liberate, if we want to liberate this thing, how you can really break it through to be able to kind of like release what is inside.
What's inside? What is, you can see it, but don't touch it.
Yeah. But can you imagine to kind of basically that we could kind of like also break this to go through, and then there's this idea of like also exploring. I think like it's very important that you really explore the things, that you really slowly engage into whatever you are doing, no? Into my design objects that you almost can crawl inside, or into a food that you can really slowly discover and it kind of like elaborates.
I don't know why, but I get an idea from this.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I got like many ideas from each of them. So like maybe like we need to later on narrow down. But this one, for me, and the idea of like liberating something that is there, I find it like quite interesting. I like also like the idea of like this vertical almost presentation, no, where this thing is kind of like
just
almost hanging there, and then you're like, okay, and then you can take it and.
I think as a start.
It can be a good start. Okay, so what do we do now?
We need wine.
That's a good idea.
You know, you like red wine?
Yes.
Salud.
Salud. Now I'm becoming inspired.
Yeah, I got the first idea I had when we say we must need the inside, we must break it. I think about bread, and in Catalonia you have very traditional pan de cristal. Pan de cristal is very airy bread, and sometimes they put a little bit of glass sugar, and that's where. Then I'm thinking about this shiny part of caramel, glass, sugar. But I really also like to mix it together with.
For me, this way of presenting is quite essential as well, because I think like it's also add a new element to it, to kind of like a new way to approach a dish.
Yeah.
You expect something like basically on a surface, but then suddenly we just play with the idea of the verticality and this idea of like, okay, how do I approach this?
The plate is for me sometimes more important than the dish.
I know, I saw your plate.
Yeah, I really like beautiful. To make new dishes and new plates, and sometimes no plate. But it can be very funny to make like something hanging, eating, break it and dip it. And
I don't know, also like maybe we can even look at some sketches that I might even have here. I mean, like sometimes I'm very, look, this also like could be an idea of a hanging. I mean, we can really see, I mean, like this is only like a direction. What I want is like to play with the elements in your kitchen and to see what happened, but like keep certain kind of ideas, no? And here, for me, the idea of like something hanging, so it can be like a connection with this, and then like actually we can even have like a few, and then like you grasp one, and I take another one.
Sharing.
And sharing. And this is basically like tapas. Like, you know, like we also take it. Like tapas that we eat with our hands. So each of them is kind of like eat one of these ones, no? Pam, 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 pam. And then like it can be like a center dish where actually everyone is kind of like taking from it.
I'm now thinking about the technique. I'm not thinking about the flavors. Do you have sometimes also like you make an idea, but you know for sure you don't can make it because the technique or the material is not there? You put it away, but you don't want to put it away?
Yeah, or I just do it knowing that it's going to be a failure, and then I learn from this failure. And that's beautiful. Yeah. That's why I'm telling you, like, I mean, like, we see this shape, but like now the challenge is like, okay, we are going to aim for this, or we are going to aim for that, knowing that it's not going to be this. it's gonna be something else, and that's the beauty of like really going through the process
to create something new from something that you don't know about.
This is just only the sparkle.
I really like that. I really have like 3 or 4 ideas. I want to combine it together.
Let's do it then.
Nacho, from your studio to my kitchen.
Thank you for having me here.
Now check it.
Thank you very much. I'm just at your orders.
Yeah, Nacho, after our conversation, I was thinking about... I always think in flavors, and I was different because I'm now thinking in textures. And I saw this in a Chinese shop. It's like normal krupuk here. We call it a pan chino in Spanish. But I really thought that the rounds are a little bit what you was sketching. And I was also thinking about like in the church, you know, La Hostia Sagrada, where we're talking about like break the bread, but I'm doing still experiments.
Yeah, sure. I think like the texture of it is super interesting, and what we were talking about like how we could kind of like give a shape to food. I think like here I can kind of like synthesize, and I really like this idea of lines because it's almost like come from the idea of the sketches that we were doing together in my studio. So I'm very curious to see what we are going to be doing today.
I think that I have the recipe to make like it's a cream of tapioca with water and chicken skins, and I think with this we can create like molds or textures of. I think we're going to try things out.
Yeah, let's do that then. That you did with the tapioca and the chicken.
Yeah,
and then we can draw with it.
Yes, I cook it like 100 degrees, 10 minutes. That you have like the coagulation of the tapioca with the chicken skin.
Can I try to sketch something?
Yeah, please.
Oh yeah, beautiful. One bigger volume and then a smaller volume.
It's very organic, huh?
Very organic.
Una nube.
I like it. Okay, we have already few tests done here.
Let's work this out, huh?
Let's do it.
Gentlemen, nice to have you sitting at the table. Nacho, thank you. Adrian, thank you for having us at your restaurant.
Welcome.
The first question for you, Nacho, as an artist. Could you tell something about the created dish from an artist's point of view, please?
From an artist's point of view, okay. I mean, I was telling to Adrian, I think like when after we just finished placing all the elements, and actually he had the brilliant idea of adding some colors, I just saw autumn. Now, since we are entering into the autumn season, and I saw the red, the green, the yellow, the black, I thought that it's a perfect autumn dish to start actually soon in this October that we are entering. When Adrian was at the studio, we just kind of like somehow like put many ideas on the table, and then from there we picked a few things, we pick few challenges, and then that's what it is. Like then like you need to go and achieve this challenge through the process. You learn what you are capable to do or not, and then you discover new things that then later on you somehow need to arrange in the last minute to create something out of it.
It looks stunning.
Because it's very funny about the flavors. Huh? In the beginning, I thought it was more a salty part to when we are at the studio. Because we thought about hanging, this is okay. The hanging idea was, we still have it now. And I felt like herring. This was for me like silty, salty. When I start to come back in the kitchen, I start to make something sweet with white chocolate. And at the end, it's again salty. Without to think, oh no, we don't do salty or no sweetness. At the end, is this
you let
the
the
part.
process. You let the process lead, just like Nacho said, forward and back. And do you think you will take this idea, which you have created with Nacho, to create a dish for your own restaurant?
Yeah, I think already the first idea to make the krupuk with white chocolate, it can be, I think in 2-3 weeks we can final to have like sweetness by the coffee.
Nice. And is it the first time you work with a chef? You have a collaboration from your point of view as an artist and a chef that you create a dish? Is this the first time?
It's the first time.
Okay. And what did you especially like from the process of working with a chef who was also an artist, but in his way? What did you like the most out of the collaboration?
To share and throw ideas and to kind of like this idea of challenging and then like imagining together. I think like it was kind of like a connection there on what we wanted to achieve and how we understand the idea of eating food. That is more than just eating food, it's about sharing food. You know, we both come from Spain and this concept of like sharing, it's very important. So it's just about like us having here a dialogue and to be able to be connected through the food, you know, this element, no? And that was something that I was discussing at the beginning, that this dish was kind of like, part of it was from me, part of it is for you, part of it is for you. So it's kind of like really like giving and taking. And that's actually like a very good way to start creating, also being able to collaborate and learn through others.
I would love to thank you for this conversation. I think you have a really great result. I'm privileged to have seen you work together, and the connection between you two was the most interesting thing to watch. Although the dish is great, I love it. I really get goosebumps out of it because it's something spectacular, but I love the collaboration between you two. That's what you said. You give a little piece of yourself, a little piece of the other, and the connection which creates this. So I think this stands symbolic for your started friendship, maybe.
Yeah.
So thank you for the conversation, but more than that, thank you for the end result, because I really love it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.